going on, everybody? It's your boy Ant, and today we back with another reaction. I know everybody's keeping up with WandaVision. I'm trying to get the reviews to y'all as soon as possible. But for the meantime, we're over here breaking down episode 6 with Mr. Erick Voss. He's got all the Easter eggs. He's going to pick up on everything that we probably missed on and that we probably skipped over. He's going to tell you all the theories. And you know, NewRockstars got all of the new content when it comes to superhero movies, comic books, and just pop culture. So just go ahead and go check them out. Without any further ado, we're going to get right into it. WandaVision, Episode 6, Easter eggs. Let's get it. And here we go.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric.
Oh.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erick Voss, and this is a breakdown
Hello,
of WandaVision
Mr.
Episode
Voss.
6, a terrifying Halloween with Wanda's hex warping the
Yeah,
whole
it
world
was
into a
pretty
creepy
creepy.
clown maze the weekend could get lost in. Let's break down this episode shot by shot for all the visual clues and details that you might have missed and just try to help us figure out Wanda the is going on. Let's get started. We gotta start with the previously on segment. It calls back the real MCU Pietro's death.
Facts, that was
kind
of weird when we got to see him again.
This episode telling us that the Evan Peters Pietro is not actually a recast, as Marvel has done before, but that this guy is not Pietro.
I'm still holding out hope.
In this early 2000s
I still
era
think
with
he's
graphics,
Pietro.
text, punk music, all inspired by Malcolm in the Middle.
Facts. As soon as it came on, I knew it was Malcolm in the Middle. And I ain't even really used to watch it, but that song and that opening is so iconic.
Trope of kids talking directly to camera. During the intro, Vision's newspaper has an ad for Westview Appliances' otherworldly deals and a flying saucer hovering overhead. This reflects the mentions of the lights visible over Westview
is the type
in the
of things
newspaper
that
last week.
I wouldn't
Vision's
even pick up
very
on.
first line in this series.
Hella zoom and enhance.
Flying saucers.
I see all of this as what Vision was intended to be by Hayward, an appliance that he hoped to weaponize against extraterrestrial threats.
Shifted away from manned missions and refocused on robotics, nanotech, AI, sentient weapons.
I don't trust that guy at all, but I don't think anybody trusts him either.
Space is now full of unexpected
But is
threats.
he
Agnes has been added to
an
the opening
earthly
credits,
villain
wearing pants with
or a
Nazi and
otherworldly
rhinestones
villain?
on the butt. Now, Agnes, of course, has always been playfully nice.
Agatha
Even more in
Harkness?
this episode, we are seeing her even greater, possibly villainous importance. Pietro has also been added to the credits as himself,
As
if
himself.
to say these others are actors playing roles, but this guy is a celebrity guest star who's not playing the part of Pietro, but just kind of screwing around as himself.
Right.
And who is that self? You probably know where I'm going, but we'll get there. The opening image of the episode depicts a ghost, and I actually think the alive or dead status of these Westview residents is now up for debate this Halloween. Billy wears
I
a
really
red
don't
cape
think
and
so.
a
I think
blue
they're all
headband,
alive
the
but being
wardrobe of
controlled.
Wiccan in the comics. Actually, you'll notice Wanda, Vision, Pietro, Tommy, they all match their comics counterparts with their Halloween costumes.
Facts. That shit
It
was
gets to make the true meaning
amazing
of
just to
Halloween.
see them in their old throwback look.
Holiday, all about family, friends, and the thrill of getting to be someone else for a day. Wrong. Halloween's about candy and scaring people, but mostly candy.
Yeah,
Right.
the thrill of getting to be someone else for a day kind of sounds like what this mystery figure is doing as Pietro. He looks false because this is essentially a Halloween costume version of the real thing.
Yo,
Tommy's
he's just
milk
trying
carton
to
reads Maple
stay
Hill
on the
organic
fact
milk the way
that
nature intended from
he
pasture
doesn't
raised
believe
cows.
that that's
Definitely
Pietro.
a step up from bova milk in episode 2. Bova being the bovine genetic creation of the High Evolutionary who nursed Wanda and Pietro in the comics. These boys play Dance Dance Revolution on floor mats. Takes me back. And of course, my go-to track, Smile DK's Butterfly. Aye, aye, aye. You know, it could be connected to those baby mobile butterflies that Wanda brought to life. Oh crap, I'm becoming that meme. People keep tweeting me. Hey, by the way, if you want to extend this nerdy conversation, you can join us on New Rockstars' official Discord server by becoming a patron at patreon.com/newrockstars. During this, Billy wears these tiger slippers, kind of like that toy tiger we saw last week. No way they'd be able to hit
I would
that
never
since we started up
see
in slippers.
the
No wonder why they're both
majority of these
missing.
Easter
Don't
eggs.
judge me. This was my primary
Especially
cardio
those
as a 12-year-old.
tiger
Pietro snores
slippers.
on the
I wasn't
couch,
gonna
but
notice
as
that.
boys talk about him, they use this great split focus technique. It keeps Pietro in focus in the foreground while the boys talk in focus in the background. But keep your eye on Pietro. He is awake, eyes open, actively listening, but continues to deceptively snore.
You scared? He's your uncle. Why would I be scared?
And Tommy says,
2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're secretly afraid he's a vampire.
Billy is a telepath sorcerer like his mama, so he's likely onto something, suspecting Pietro's dark supernatural
Even though he
nature.
ain't do his
Listen to what
powers until
Pietro
later on
quickly
that
growls at
episode.
Blood is thicker than water, meaning family bonds are the strongest. Notice how Pietro tries to replace Vision as a father figure.
Big guy is a conflict, twins need a father figure for the night. Don't sweat it, sis. I got the old XY chromosome.
Yeah, and Pietro did not like Vision punching him in the shoulder there. And then after Vision awkwardly
That
kisses
face.
Wanda and then leaves, look at Pietro's face there. Yeah, these daddies are in competition. Now, Pietro mocks her Sokovian fortune teller costume.
I really
Worse than the
don't
costumes
know.
Mom made us the year we got typhus.
Hey, them as kids and this lady with them teeth is amazing. I laugh so
Whoa,
hard.
flashback to Sokovia. I love these Soviet-era
Look at her
propaganda
teeth.
posters for
Look at her
rocket
teeth.
science and nuclear
Ugh.
energy. Now, you could say maybe Pietro could be dressed like Nick Fury, Wanda like Black Widow, but I don't know. When these people were kids, neither Fury nor Natasha would be widely known. Also, Halloween is not really celebrated in Eastern Europe, so when Wanda doesn't remember this, it's probably because it never happened. Now, it's a joke in the context of a sitcom, but it is a lie in the context of Pietro. WandaVision argue, and Billy tells
That's
us,
a
Mom
fact.
and Dad have been not fighting, just like different.
Again, look at Pietro. He is looking over at him. He can perceive past the context of the sitcom reality because Pietro is not under Wanda's hex. Wanda even senses this. Notice how she locks the door after Vision leaves, something maybe that she felt like she should have done to keep Pietro out last episode, and it leads to this.
Maybe you're reaching, Mr. Voss. Ah! That was amazing.
Yeah, Pietro is not a calming presence here. He is bad news. He has a mom tattoo on his arm. Some are saying this could be for Multiverse of Madness.
I
Some
mean,
people actually thought it said HOM,
that's what
but
all
no,
of
it
those
is mom.
uncle-
How do I know?
cool-
Because
the
Evan
cool
Peters has
uncle
this tattoo
characters.
already. So can things that already
That's what
existed
all of the
before the
cool
script was written
uncle
be Easter eggs?
characters be
Sure.
doing
So
in
Sword
all
recovers
of
the
the
drone that
90s
Wanda threw at
sitcoms.
them, and this is stamped
Like
with
Uncle Jesse
Stark
come in,
Industries.
cause a little
This
bit
is
of
piece
ruckus.
80s weapon tech that the
I
company
mean,
used to make before Tony's
love
change
on
of
the
heart.
kids.
And like that Stark toaster, it is exactly the kind of Stark hardware
Get
that
out of
would have
Dodge.
triggered
Regular
Wanda's
uncle
memory
shit.
of that Stark bombshell that never exploded and traumatized her and Pietro. Hayward says,
Maximoff was never going to negotiate with us. We take her out, this whole nightmare ends.
this is one of 2 mentions of the word nightmare this episode.
It's a pretty big leap from giving people nightmares and shooting red wiggly woos out your hands.
The Marvel demonic entity Nightmare is believed to be a possible villain of
All
Doctor
right.
Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and
Which I don't have a
possibly the
problem
big
with
bad
it being
behind all of
Nightmare
what's
either,
here.
but y'all was
It's
hard
possible,
on
but
for this
Nightmare
Mephisto
feeds
for
off
the
of people
longest.
as they sleep. And as we saw from Wanda's exterior confrontation last episode, she is not asleep during all this. So I think we can rule out Nightmare, just because it's not as specific as those Grim Reaper sightings or the devil stuff. Hayward calls out
I mean,
Monica's
as far as you
insubordination.
know,
Constantly
she
advocating on
could
behalf
be
of
asleep
superpowered
subconsciously, and
individuals.
that's like him
Yes,
taking
I know
control
your
of her body.
history with
But
Carol
we don't know.
Danvers. All
That's
you
what happens
people
when you
left
reach.
Still have the luxury of optimism.
Yeah, it's made to sound like it's embarrassing to be associated with Captain Marvel, as if there was some incident before the blip, maybe some incident that explains why Fury was reluctant to summon Captain Marvel every other time Earth was under attack. Perhaps Captain Marvel was looked at as a pariah for prioritizing all these other worlds instead of Terra, C-53, Earth. So then they go trick-or-treating. Unleash Hell, Demon Spawn!
Now that was kinda-
Unleash Hell,
that was
Demon
kinda,
Spawn.
you know what I mean?
You know, I keep bringing up Mephisto, but this is why!
Here he
In
goes.
the comics, Wanda's children are actually revealed to be pieces of Mephisto's soul, Demon Spawn. And as I've been saying these past 7 days since finding that gray corpse arm in the mirror, this ain't Pietro. This is an imposter wearing a Pietro Halloween costume, just with a bit of stunt casting by Marvel using a Quicksilver from a separate film franchise.
really wish it
WandaVision
is
might
him,
give us a
though.
multiverse, might give us mutants,
I
but
hope
this
so.
guy is a red herring, a pickled red herring. And now this Mephisto has come to reclaim these children
Not a
born with
pickled
Wanda's
red
magic
herring.
so he can reap the benefits. And he's doing it by wearing the disguise of Wanda's dead brother. Wanda tests him here.
What was the name of that kid who was always trying to steal your boots? He had the skin thing.
Now you could see this as a nod to the facial scarring of Victor Von Doom. I don't know, maybe in the MCU he might hail from Sokovia instead of Latveria. I hope they do have Latveria though. I like these fake places. I love this. The fact that there's a dude with a Jason mask and a Freddy shirt. He's essentially a walking Freddy versus Jason. Nice. This
Right.
dude started the scene chatting with the pirate and the jockey, but for the rest of the scene he just kind of aimlessly stands by himself. That would be me. I'm bad with conversation. conversations.
NPC.
Though he is not as creepy as this hook-nosed figure behind Wanda later. Now, I thought this was a mannequin, but look down there. That is a human leg. This looks like someone pretending to be a mannequin, just waiting to pop out and scare people, but they never do, which is even scarier. Now, Pietro calls Westview Shangri-La, maybe a nod to the immortal Himalayan refuge founded by the Vision in the comics, but maybe just used generally to refer to James Hilton's Lost Horizon for the mythical Tibetan kingdom. Actually, that mention of Tibet is interesting, because I thought we're not allowed to mention anything that'll piss off China. If
Or
Tibet
it
can be on
could just
Disney Plus,
mean
Mephisto can be on
her
Disney Plus, my friends.
paradise.
But then they reference Top Gun
Yeah, I
and
mean-
another title if you listen closely.
Yeah, kick-ass.
Kick ass.
Feel the need?
Force me.
Both of the brothers was in Kick Ass.
So Kick-Ass was a 2010 superhero movie in which Evan Peters co-starred with Aaron Taylor Johnson. And the way Wanda says it, it's almost as if she remembers seeing those two Pietros in the movie.
Huh.
That is weird. Herb reports back each of Pietro's vandalizations before they happen.
All the cannon has disappeared.
And then as some of the people get silly stringed, they're frozen. It's like they're already glitching, like the people on the other side of town. I'm telling you, Pietro does not abide by the rules of this hex. He is a virus in the machine, wreaking havoc.
Low
Herb
key,
asks,
neither does Vision though, because this whole time he's walking
as we saw in
around trying to
episode 3,
find
Herb
out what's
seems to
going
be a
on.
bit more aware of what is going on in Westview. Let's keep an eye on
And
it.
Herb
Meanwhile,
been glitching
Vision
from the
sees this
beginning,
woman stuck on a
sawing
loop,
through
setting up
walls and shit.
decoration. Behind her, her partner is also on a loop, but look at their motion. They have each been looped in post-production, but at different rhythms. You can actually see the dividing line in the frame where that split screen was layered in there. But it still seems unsettling because they CGI'd in a shadow for the husband that goes across that dividing line just to make it all feel like it's part of one shot, even though there's no light on him that would cast this kind of shadow. So that, plus this sad tear, just makes all this feel so unsettling, letting
bit of
us know
CG
that
for the
something's
tear.
inherently wrong here. But then this terrifying commercial
Nah,
for
this-
Yo Magic yogurt. Now,
Yo
throughout these episodes,
Magic.
the commercials reflect a different stage of
I feel like
Wanda's
the Yo Magic
trauma.
is the
And
most
now
dead
this
on.
is Wanda starving emotionally, alone in the void. A claymation depiction of what Wanda was trying to convey to Pietro later in the episode. Wanda needs her magic to survive, or else she will rot into a corpse like her loved ones. So, like a vulnerable child, she keeps trying to feed on this magic, even when that magic is brought to her by a sharp-toothed outside predator. And notice this little boy has already eaten a fish. Earlier, Wanda threatened to turn Pietro into a pickled herring, and in the cutaway, they were given, what? A fish. So maybe for Wanda, a single fish could represent that kind of line between starvation and survival. Ooh, by the way, you know that credit card that you're afraid to look at to see what the balance is? If you've been avoiding your debt, it is time to confront it. Upstart can help you face it and finally pay it off. Upstart is the fast and easy way to get a personal loan to pay
Nah,
off
while
your
they're
debt
doing
all
this,
online. Whether
I could
it's paying off
literally-
credit cards,
I could
consolidating
literally
financial
talk
services,
about that commercial, and that commercial is the most dead on so far, and that to me hints about Mephisto more than anything else, because in that commercial it's telling the audience that your magic alone could sustain you. I don't know, maybe it's telling you that they're feeding on your magic. We're feeding on your magic. Your magic is the food for survivors. So whoever it is, maybe they're feeding on Scarlet Witch's magic. But you know, who am I? That could just be a theory from me. But that's what I think it is. I feel like that's been the most dead on so far. Everything else has been like a little vague, except that Lagos.
And The Parent Trap play at the cinema. Weird, since one came out in 2004, the other came out in 1998. They wouldn't be in the movie theater at the same time. But this is kind of like the 2013 Oz the Great and Powerful playing in the 70s
It's
era of
it's
Westview.
anachronistic.
The Incredibles is about a superhero family with powers taken almost directly from the Fantastic Four, but
Other
here
ones is
paralleling
twin
this
swap.
superhero family, the Maximoffs. And The Parent Trap is about twins trying to trick their parents into falling back in love, maybe kind of the way Westview is a parent trap for these parents of the twins. Pietro tells Wanda,
I'm just trying to do my part, okay? Come to town unexpectedly, create tension with the brother-in-law, stir up trouble with the Rugrats, and ultimately give you grief.
he did just kind of
Exactly.
declare his purpose. He wants to give
Exactly.
Wanda the gift
Now,
of grief.
I
Why?
don't know,
Because I think
but-
he feeds on her
Okay.
pain. And then he calls out her accent.
What happened to your accent?
What happened to yours?
Yeah, between Civil War and Infinity War, Wanda's Sokovian accent just kind of went away, though it has started to come back.
This will be your only warning.
I think the lost
You're
accent and the
only
sitcoms are connected. Wanda might have spent those 2 years with Vision on the run binging sitcoms, and she might have started emulating the dialect of the character she saw on screen. And it was that time that she is now trying to recreate in this hex. And then Pietro kind of explains how he got here.
I got shot like a chump in the street for no reason at all, and next thing I know, I heard you calling me.
Yeah, he's really kind of making fun of his own death in Age of Ultron, suggesting this Evan Peters Pietro is not the Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men movies, who would not know what Aaron Taylor Johnson Pietro's dying moments looked like, but rather this might be someone from this universe or beyond this universe who saw that death, but is now okay with mocking that heroic significance. Who does that sound like to you? So Ellis Avenue is kind of the border they're not allowed to go
Come
past.
on,
Could be a
Mr.
nod
Voss.
to the MCU
You're
president,
just never
Matthew
gonna
Ellis,
stop,
and
man.
Westview just named a street after the president. Matthew Ellis was named after Marvel Comics writer Warren Ellis. Ellis could also be a nod to Ellis Island, where in the first X-Men movie, world leaders gathered and were nearly turned into mutants from the nearby Liberty Island, thanks to Magneto, her dad. So we find out Hayward is tracking Vision's vibranium decay. Remember, Vision's vibranium was fused with living cellular tissue. So as that tissue decays, it could cause the vibranium atoms in the cells to radiate out. We see 4 circles in the bottom corner. Maybe those are for the different types of radiation. Maybe they're Infinity Stone related. I doubt it. Not everything multicolored is Infinity Stone. This one girl's costume is probably the late RBG, and Vision decides to revert to his Avengers form, and he uses the Mind Stone to do it. Interesting. It looks as though the further away people get from Wanda and the Hex, the less she's able to
this
puppet
whole
them.
part
Though
of the
notice,
situation
even after
was
Vision
super
reverts,
creepy.
he does keep his wedding ring.
And
Now, Vision does not
Agatha,
remember his Avengers
I feel like
history
Agatha
because
is the
he
one that we
exists
really need
as
to
a
keep
Hex
our
creation
eye
of
on. I
Wanda.
feel like she's the
Free
key
from
to
the
everything,
pain of everything that happened
100%.
before, and that includes him just seeing himself as a husband to Wanda. But that manifestation does invoke his soul that he had before. That soul was good and truth-seeking, and that's why he ends up questioning this reality and is able to determine it's false. Now notice Agnes's license plate reads 0A1B2C, which I did check. This is not the hex code for the color red.
This is
I don't know why
super
people
shit
keep
I'll be
saying that.
talking
It's like a
about that
bluish
I'll
black
never
shade.
get.
I think it is significant because it does alternate 012ABC. And remember, Vision and Wanda's car in episode 1 was tagged 0102, so it may reflect how Agnes, by comparison, is literate in ways they aren't. But of course, Agnes is dressed as a witch. The latest smoking gun that this is probably Agatha Harkness. There's a lot going on here that's weird. While other glitching residents cannot even talk, they're frozen catatonic, Agnes can. And then after Vision zaps her awake, she still goes by the name Agnes. She doesn't have an alternate identity. It seems like she is more resistant to the Hex, maybe a product of it, and that is why S.W.O.R.D. cannot identify her. Notice how she clutches her chest. She feels around. That's because she's looking for her brooch.
Right,
If she is
never
a
had
witch
the
secretly
brooch.
serving Mephisto, his soul could have previously been kept in that brooch. That would be her husband Ralph that she won't shut up about. The one who shares an anniversary with her that's the same date as the Salem witch trials. And that maybe now that Mephisto has taken human form, she just feels lost without him.
I
And
haven't
Agnes
seen both of
says
them in the
this.
same scene.
No.
So
Why
I
would you
don't
think
know.
that?
Her and Evan Peters, I'm saying I haven't seen both of them in the same scene, so I can't say anything just yet.
Dead.
See, this was super weird. The dead. Well, listen. What's
It
wrong
does
with it?
kind of parallel that moment back in episode 3.
Came here because we're all what? What are you trying to tell me? She came here because we're all...
Stop it.
Now, in that moment, Herb might have been about to say, because we're all dead, but, you know, the ID wall does suggest Herb is a still living person. It could be that there was some inciting incident that did kill these people in Westview before their deaths were reported, and that now
What?
their souls have been resurrected in the Hex. Now, that would pose some dark implications for the
That would
children
be
now in Westview.
crazy.
Did Wanda resurrect a bunch of dead kids to populate Westview?
That would
Fittingly
be
on
nuts.
All Hallows Eve, the night
That
dead
would be
spirits walk the
nuts.
earth? Monica gets a text from her mystery engineer friend. Now, editor John was able to help me figure this one out. Take a close look at that, zoom in, flip it. I think we can make out a 5-word text. I'm something Hydra? Something. Maybe this engineer has some old Hydra tech that they're gonna use to make that vehicle? Anyway, for our theories on who this person is, check out this week's episode of Rogue Theory. I think we covered all the options there. So
I
then
don't think I
Darcy
want to
tells
watch
Monica,
Rogue Theory. I
Energy
think I'm
inside
gonna just
has
stick to the
rewritten
regular
yourself
joints.
on a molecular level twice. It's changing you.
Yes, this implies Wanda's
Definitely
hex
could have
might
seen that
cause
from the
mutations
chest-
on the DNA
from the chest
level
X-rays
certain
in the
people.
first-
Perhaps
in the
certain
third
other people
episode?
in the MCU were born with genetic predispositions that, when they are hit with this
XG.
X wave, cause mutations to get activated, and that could be how we get mutants in the MCU. Now, Monica herself is clearly being set up to become Photon, but her lack of surprise at her blood work and her reaction last week to the doctor suggests to me that Monica might have already been aware of her mutations. So then Pietro asks Wanda about how she made Westview.
You handled the ethical considerations of this scenario as best you could. Families and couples stay together. Most personalities aren't far from what's underneath. People got better jobs.
You don't think it's wrong?
Are you kidding? I'm impressed.
Yeah, Pietro knows what these people were like before the Hex to compare it now. And he genuinely wants to know where Wanda got these kids from. Maybe because he is Mephisto, and he had to use pieces of his soul to construct these two kids. And as we saw from Agnes last episode, these two are straight up mystified by Wanda's ability to raise the dead,
Okay.
even if it is inside Westview.
Okay.
You can do that?
Then,
All right, now you're getting me on the Mephisto train.
so
that
why
was
does Wanda
beyond
see
creepy.
Evan Peters' Pietro as a corpse the way she saw Vision when this Pietro was not the one who died? Well, I think this Pietro is warping Wanda's perception to further convince her that he is her brother. Because remember, Wanda did not see Pietro die, so he might feel like, I can get in here and trick her. I'm the one who died. I'm your brother. Forget how I look and sound a bit different from who you remember your brother to be. Because remember, as Pietro said earlier, his goal is to give her grief, because grief enables gaslighting. Now, Hayward's encrypted file is Project Cataract. Now, this codename could correspond to Vision, as a cataract is when a cloud forms on the eye that decays one's vision. Corpse Vision's eyes are clouded over as Vision decays,
This is a
thus
fact.
cataract. Now, the names James Gadd, aka Jimmy Gadd, and James Alexander are Marvel VFX artists. We saw Jimmy Gadd in the credits of the last episode. Vision disintegrates as the Hex pulls him back
That
in,
shit was
though
tough
the
to
Mind
watch.
Stone remains intact. I think this is because
Tough.
Vision's resurrection came from Wanda's powers, which were derived from the Mind Stone radiation. So as long as this Hex is operational and Wanda is still alive, the projection of the Mind Stone in Vision's head remains, though Vision himself apparently cannot survive outside this Hex.
Oh,
and yes,
man.
Vision's erosion is kind of like this shirt. This is our custom and unusual couple shirt. It's filled with Easter eggs that you can only find via augmented reality.
to watch.
You can get this at newrockstarsmerch.com, and we are doing a special sale this weekend for all you lovers looking to get that special someone a gift.
Might have to
10%
grab
off
that.
all New Rockstars products. Just use the code VisionTime Day.
Vision Time
newrockstarsmerch.com.
Day.
Now, in the
I
town
might
square,
have
the
to
movie
grab
projector screen is showing George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, another possible clue showing us the way Wanda might be resurrecting the dead to populate Westview.
Why
Pietro
are they
says,
trying to
It's not like
like?
your dead husband can die twice.
another sign of his meta sentience, because Aaron Taylor Johnson Pietro died before Vision did. How would he know that he was dead? But ironically, Vision did die twice already.
Right,
Once
he
when
would've died
Wanda blew up
a
the
third
Mind Stone,
time.
and then again when Thanos rewound time to rip it out. And that first death that Wanda still feels super guilty over is probably what triggered Wanda's rage. She smashes Pietro through these gravestones. One includes the name Janelle Sammelman, who is an AD for WandaVision. She also worked on the Fantastic Four. The epitaph, though, is a real detail. It says, not on her side, which I think is a huge clue, pointing to the fact that Pietro is not on Wanda's side at all. There's also Rivas, which, you know, maybe Pietro's a kind of virus in Westview. Anagram.
Dr.
Now, Wanda
Rivas.
freezes the town. And notice this happens precisely in Night of the Living Dead when the Walker is breaking through the fence, precisely as Walking Dead Vision is breaking through the Westview border. And
Right.
then Wanda's Scarlet Magic bursts out, expanding
even
the
though it's
Hex.
afterwards, 'cause he
Expansion.
was
It sucks in
disintegrating
the sword
already.
camp, including poor Darcy.
Now,
I love that Christmas story edit there. It's something that confused the crap
I
out of
don't
me as a
know
kid because I
if
didn't
Darcy's gonna
understand
have
meta
powers, but like I
POV
really
shifts,
want her to
something
have
that
powers.
WandaVision uses liberally now. The sword camp turns into a circus with the agents becoming clowns and mimes. See, whereas within Westview,
Bring
everything was
Darcy
an archaic,
powers.
informative TV show. Outside, everything becomes an even earlier form of showbiz and escapism, a big circus tent. And I love how one of these mimes does the invisible wall, because she's now trapped behind an invisible wall of Westview herself. The truck turns into a funnel cake truck. Funnel of love. Another
Ha,
reminder that this
funnel
whole
of love.
Hex was based on Wanda's love for Vision. And the closing shot shows us Wanda's eyes as the scarlet glow fades. You can almost make out the shape of a person in that red glow, especially noticeable on the right eye. Again, I don't really think Wanda is doing this alone. Some other entity is in the shadows, enabling her, the true source of her madness. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in what we do at New Rockstars, we and our sister company, Social Blue Book, are hiring. We're looking for a social media manager. We're including a link in the description. Go check it out if you want to apply. We would love to bring you on the team if you're qualified. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for all your WandaVision questions. Thank you for watching. Boo!
So yeah, man, another great video from New Rockstars. So much more information. The anticipation is just like out of this world right now for the next episode of WandaVision. I think we only have 3 episodes left, and I can't even wait, man. There's so many possibilities, so many theories, so many ways that this series could turn out. And it's not only going to impact this one show, it's going to impact the entirety of the MCU. Just from the villains that they're bringing in, they're bringing it in from more of the mystical, the magic side, the darker side of the MCU. And that goes with what they wanted to do with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and all of the other changes that they've been putting in what's going on with Spider-Man. And listen, man, what we have right now is a bounty of riches when it comes to entertainment from Marvel Studios, and all we could do is like really just be happy and thank God that like we're alive at this time just to be able to watch this, man. Crazy times, pandemic going on, but we still here. Marvel Studios still cranking out great entertainment, and I'm just grateful to be here to appreciate it. Please, guys, if you like what I'm doing here, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you could be notified when we put new videos out. And without further ado, we out.